Jacobson?
Here.
Sorry.
Yes.
Jaden?
Yes.
Euchre?
Here.
Weltner?
Present.
Minutes of the June 2nd special session.
Move to accept.
Did you have a question, Charlie?
That's the next
That's
one.
the next
Oh,
one.
the next one, okay. Second it then. I second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes of June 3rd, regular meeting. Any questions?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, you start it.
I didn't catch it. She got it.
Okay, I'll say it.
Thank you.
All right, as you see, the list of our guests were on the first page, right? Then we get down to the discussion on public input. And Dwayne Stahl, Joyce Hofer, Dawn Stahl, excuse me, and Marlene Herman were present to share their concerns. Well, Marlene didn't say nothing, so she really shouldn't be listed as sharing concerns. She was here, moral support.
Attendance but not showed her.
Right, she's on the attendance roster. So I'd make a motion to approve that with those changes.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Marge, for the Vermeer 5K, 10K run walk, you want to address? It's different than last year, evidently?
No.
Oh,
Well, the 10K part of it
10K,
is.
I thought I saw
Oh, I
something.
just leave it here? Okay. Yeah, this year we thought we would like to mix it up a little bit and add the 10K, of which I will not be a participant at all. And the thing that I assume would cause the most concern would be being on a public road. And my suggestion is that we would have spotters from our company that would keep an eye on people's safety, that would be running past the golf course and back, and then along Cedar Street for a period of about 3/4 of a mile. And I guess I want your feelings on that, whether that's a yay or a nay. Other than that, I think everything is pretty much what I present every year. And there is, did you all get a map?
Yes. Yes.
I know, it's pretty. The purple is the 5K and the blue is the 10K. The solid lines are the way out and the dotted lines are the way back. So,
Councilman, do you have a question, recommendation, answer? Be people on Cedar Street, they won't be any different than any other day in Freeman. So if you're gonna have your own people there helping out.
As long as you
making
got
sure.
somebody watching, I'm comfortable with it.
Do we need a resolution, gentlemen?
You had to
Yes.
approve the permit.
I'll make a motion to accept the special event permit for Vermeer for the 5K and 10K run walk.
Okay. Jaden?
Yes.
Euchre?
Yes.
Weltner?
Yes.
Gehring?
Yes.
Jacobson?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
thank you.
Thanks, Marge.
Thanks, Mark.
Well, we always put public input here. I see there's guests here today. I don't know if they want to just speak right now or if they want to wait till your topic that concerns you come up. We put it there because that's where we put it the last time. Board of Adjustment for the Schrock variance.
Move to go into Board of Adjustments.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Okay, we hit, excuse me, Planning and Zoning had our meeting tonight at 5:15 on the variance for Marcia Schrock, and it was approved. She's building a deck on her house. The deck is not going any wider than the house itself. You should have a picture right there. And it's a narrow lot, as you can see. The side yards are not in compliance because the lot's only 60 foot. Deck doesn't stick any farther out in the house, so we approved it. So that was the recommendation, is to approve it. I guess that's my recommendation to the council, to approve it.
There's the 4-foot, 4-inch setback is only on the one side there, is that right?
4 foot on one side and, 32 foot.
Yeah.
50 foot and 4 foot is 54, so the other side's 6 foot. But the deck's on the 6 foot side.
Right. I see nothing wrong with that.
Move to grant variance for Marcius Schrock at 817 South Albert Street.
I'll second that.
Waltner?
Nope.
Oops.
Gotta read our questions from the Board of Adjustment.
Oh, right.
You don't want to?
What, questions?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the questions.
No, I'm familiar.
Yeah, but you have to read them.
You gotta read the questions.
Okay.
I'm confused.
These
Here's the
questions,
list.
these questions that go with
If
the
it's
variance.
a
Oh.
hardship,
Where's that at?
it causes,
Yeah,
Seriously?
yeah,
Yeah, and they're confusing because they're all double.
the double negatives.
right,
Government.
Denial of the variance would result in hardship to the property owner due to physical characteristics of the site.
Yes,
Am I getting the right
yes,
spot?
that's right, yes.
I care a little more. The conditions upon which an application for a variance is based are unique to the property for which the variance is sought.
Yes,
The petition for a variance is not based exclusively upon a desire to increase the value or income potential of the property. The
yes.
granting of the variance will not be detrimental to the public welfare in which the property is located.
Yes,
The proposed variance will not jeopardize the intent and general and specific purposes of the variance ordinance, and the concurring vote of 2/3 of the total board membership shall be necessary to approve the request.
all the time.
I know.
Waldner,
Yes.
Gehring,
Yes.
Jacobson, Sorry,
Yes.
Jaden,
Yes,
Euchre.
Yes.
can you clear us out, Charlie?
I declare us out.
Hoots Edition discussion.
Got that, got some numbers put together as requested. This is for the 30 by 30 addition in the current storage room area now. What I come up with is the construction of the room and materials, and I'll just itemize this a little bit, and I'll get to the numbers here at the end here. 12,661. Electrical was 9,345. Heating and AC was 9,734. And then the furnace, another furnace for the storage room, this big storage area, would be 3,265. And some tank removal and cleanup was 1,100, with leaving a total of the addition at with these numbers, $36,105.44. Do some add-ons and the trims and doors and flooring would be another $5,415, with a grand total of $41,520.44. Now, with that being said, the things that would I guess what I see being done, regardless if it would happen or not, the electrical panel needs to be done regardless. Roughly an estimation of $6,000 for that, doing that part of it, running the wires where it needs to be for that. Removal of the old fuel tanks and ductwork removal, $1,100. I think our guys could probably handle that. But anyway, it's $1,100. And the furnace for the storage area would be $3,265. So that would leave, and this is in my opinion, things that would need, that I think we should consider doing regardless if this goes through or not, would be $10,365. Okay? The Hoots room, as I mentioned, was $41,500. Take that away, in essence, trying to show favor a little bit to Jay here, that would leave the room essentially an additional cost of $31,155. Okay? Now, to justify that, based off of the addendum made with the rent of $500 increase on top of what he's paying already. That would be a payback at the full amount of 83 months or roughly 7 years. Okay? If you take the deduction away with the necessary repair that needs to be done regardless, it would be 62 months or a little bit over 5 years of payback at $500 a month. So those are the numbers I have. Now, Jay's here if you got questions regarding it. This has been brought up a number of times, and I just kind of want to put it, I think everybody just would kind of like to put it to rest. If we're going to do it, let's do it. If we're not, Jay needs to know that too. So I know I've talked with you guys, and everybody had concerns, had some comments, maybe some conditions. So I think now's the time to discuss them and see if we can work it out, or if we can move forward, or if it's going to be dead in the water. So, did I miss anything, Jay? Or, I mean, that's kind of what you're after. Okay. I know. I wish I could come up with, Jay's been in business for a little bit over 5 years. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so roughly $60,000 of revenue the city has made from rent. Okay, and I know, and I understand that Jay's not the only bar in town. We have 3 sources of revenue from him, being that he's in there. Would be rent, sales tax, and alcohol tax, which will be all adjusted there accordingly later on here next month, I think it is. But and that I have no idea how that'll work, Jay. So, but and I see the building, a 30 by 30 building, and Charlie and Lonnie, you both made some very good points. Are we in the rental business? Are we, do we do this, or and I understand what you're saying, because we don't have a city municipality anymore, but we do have a place that we are able to rent for a revenue. And if we do this building, we have the same. We're getting 50% more revenue, and it's not for nothing, because if Jay decides I'm done in 3-4 years or whatever, we still have that building that is finished. Mentioned about the police or whatever can move in there, or city offices can move in there. So it would be, in my opinion, again, money that would not be wasted in essence for a shell that would go to waste. You get the area cleaned up. It makes some space that's not being utilized right now. Bring in $500 a month. So.
What's the term on the contract?
The term of the contracts, it was in a
length.
Oh, 5. It was five.
It'll be 5 years.
The current one is 5 years auto renewal. The new one, I think it was non-renewed every year, but we had to renew it through the council. That's the way. Is that correct? That's the way I don't have it in front of me here, and I apologize for that. But I believe it was or we had the option to
The option
adjust
was-
rent.
The option was 2% to be adjusted
Yep,
within up to 2%.
up to 2%.
So it's still a
Yeah,
five-year
so,
contract.
yeah. So I don't think it's any auto renewal.
You're in your final 5 years of auto renewal.
That is correct.
Mhm.
So you would have to reapply when those 5 years is
Yeah,
up.
correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and that just took place here last fall.
Yep.
Yeah.
So 2025 is when it would, in fall, when it come due again.
Yes, if that was your question, 2025 is the current contract, yes. So,
And the new contract.
That does not, oh, excuse me,
doesn't-
Terry.
New contract wouldn't take effect until 2025,
So you're talking.
aside,
9 years.
aside from the $500 addendum that we would do for the rent.
Correct, that's what was proposed before, is
Yep.
the $500 goes, yeah, kicks in.
so and one of this, and I'll just bring it up because it's been brought up, is I guess I kind of, the sore was, is the equipment was breaking down, and talking with Jay and when he was took over, and not picking on anybody or blaming anybody, but the equipment was in poor shape. And, then when you clean it, it's refrigerant equipment, when you clean it, things get thin, and they produce problems. And so, and I think that's what kind of maybe put some salt in the wound, is that things were breaking down, and they had to pay for this, had to pay for that, had to pay for that, all right away, business owner, I get that, I totally understand that. I think outside of the ice machine, things are in pretty good shape
Right.
right now, and I know that was a stipulation on the contract, is that, that would be on Jay's behalf, then, would be is the equipment repair, okay? I'm not sure how that would be, Jay, so, that I'm just gonna ask, is if let's say, the cooler shouldn't, but let's say the cooler breaks down, and it's on the new contract, and it's non-repairable, okay? So the city is not, from my understanding, with the new contract, would not be liable for anything. We'd essentially just haul the cooler out, and it'd be up to Jay to put a new cooler in. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, just want to be clear on that.
So it was designed as to a fact, as if you came in, you have these buildings in Sioux Falls, other towns, it's build to suit, right?
Mhm.
You come in with we'll build this building, you provide the equipment. If you decide to get out of the business, we are not buying the equipment from you, but we will lease it to somebody else. You have the option to sell that equipment to the next person who wants to go forward with the business.
Correct, that was
Okay.
implicit in the new contract.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Correct.
So that way, we're no longer responsible for chairs, tables, coolers, whatever you name. No, we're responsible for the plumbing, if the plumbing goes back, because it's our building. We're responsible for the AC unit, because, of course, that's ours. But anything that is deemed necessary to run a bar would not be our liability,
Correct, the new contract.
according to the new contract that will start in 2025.
2030, correct.
Yes.
That's correct.
So that adds another 5 years, so we'd be looking at 9.5 years.
Well, no, that doesn't add, it doesn't renew then. If he renews it, see, and I tried finding that, and I don't have, my emails.
Well, I'm confused then, because you said, we're on the second 5, I know that,
Yes.
which is 2025.
Oh, yes, yes. So
Right.
if he
So
were.
another
let's
5
assign
on
this-
top of that would
yes.
make it 9.5.
Yes.
Right, do you think our police station is gonna need to be readjusted in 9.5 years?
I think it probably needs to be readjusted today.
Does it make any sense to rent city space
No,
and then turn around and rent space for our police department?
I was just telling you what the contract was drawn up.
I understand that, now I'm making my
Yes.
different argument than blaming you.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I
That's
understand.
been our topic of discussion for a long time, right? Is the police station.
And Blaine's right, he's a businessman, he needs to know
Yes.
what's gonna happen. Are we gonna build it and let you run with it? Are we gonna say no, and this is your last 5 when it's up for remodeling for a police station? We need to have that discussion.
But I did my due diligence by putting the numbers together so I can, give everybody the information.
Well, I
that-
understand, I
you know,
understand.
And, you know, I think just everybody just needs to get on the same page, and I know Jay would most definitely like that to go, you know, and so he can hold his events and, you know, capitalize on some more funds. That's, you know, that's what I got, Jay, unless you have something else to add.
No, I think
You-
it's,
You know, I guess,
brought your information too. I mean,
yeah,
being
so,
a renter for the last 6 years, I think I've been doing a pretty darn good job of your facilities there. Scott could probably contest a little bit too. You know, the only time he's ever been out there was a fender bender at the library.
Yeah.
He knows, he's been to my establishment and he can foresee things and see things and how the business is being run. Within those past 6 years, you know, I've spent a good sum of my own money to enhance the building, to enhance the establishment with the beer garden and electrical panels. We're up to $5,000 that I've spent, and ceiling fans, you know, to enhance the establishment. To bring in more revenue for the city that way as well. So I'd like to think that we'd like to want to continue this working relationship further on.
well, and Jay, just to say, you've done a good job. It's very clean. You know, it's a nice place to go. It's very clean. You've kept our building very, very good shape, you know. So let me ask you this, if we decide to vote, doesn't go, I mean, are we automatically saying that Jay is out at the end of the contract, or is that, you know, or is that just?
Here's, Blaine, if I may.
Absolutely.
What we need to know, what we're gonna finally have to decide as a council
I would
is,
like to bring this.
are we gonna do something else with this in 4 years when his contract's up?
Yeah.
Because we need to decide now. Or, I mean, we're kinda, if we're gonna stick a bunch of money in here, then we're going down that road. There won't be any turning back. Then we're gonna have to find something else for other offices. And Jay runs a clean ship. I've never, I mean, I used to get the police reports for a year, and it was always, I never got a complaint out of him. But we, as a council, you either gonna go in on this and continue renting, if that's the route the council wants to go, or we're gonna say, Jay, you're gonna, you know, finish out your 4 years. We have plans for this building. We're gonna make office space or do something else with it. And that's the decision that's in front of the council. It's been kicked down the road for as long as I've been here, and it's difficult. It is not reflective on Jay at all. But I understand, I side with Jay in as much as if I were in his shoes, I'd wanna know, where's my future and so forth. You know, where I'm at. So that's where I see, are we gonna, which path are we gonna go down?
That's
Yeah, and
exactly right,
so,
Mike.
you know,
No, that's exactly right.
somebody's gonna have to run it up the flagpole here.
Yeah, I guess it's been presented, arguments have been made. Doug, do you have anything to add, or?
You know, yeah, I do think Jay runs a good business, and in this case, I do support his desire to have the space. I can see the need for the police station too. I'm conflicted with that poll, but in this situation, I would support adding some room on there. I think it's an asset to the city at this time. Brings us some cash every year. And I do know the police station needs some work, and, you know, there's still more space back here, but,
Yeah.
no, I think you summed it up real well, Blaine.
I guess I'd be looking for a motion to move forward with this, or not, you know, so I think,
I'll step out, I'll make the motion.
okay, Charlie, you were gonna say something?
I never really thought about it a whole lot until just recently when we talked about it, but we've talked about expanding the police a lot, but it doesn't make sense to me if we're going to make this a bar and then we're gonna go out and rent property to make a police station, when we actually have a government building that all would encompass everything. So I'd be much more in favor actually of looking down that road, that we actually do expand the police into that area. We still need warm storage for some equipment. We're full in our maintenance shop.
I think
I don't
we
know when
need
Beta's gonna leave,
Yeah.
and I think I think that's just not probably the way I'd want to go, so I'm.
No,
I vote no, and
you know, I'm
just
not,
gonna tell you that
I'm-
now.
you know,
It's nothing against your business, Jay.
And there is no hard feelings in any way. I just think as a council, as Michael said, I think we just need to figure it out. Jay needs to know, and.
Absolutely.
There's only one way to figure it out.
I agree.
So, to expand the police station, is the idea to expand the police station into this property or to take over the bar in 4.5 years?
The idea would be us to talk about it, but my assumption is the bar. I mean, I think it's kind of dumb to have a police station right next to a bar anyway, but that's been that way in
Been that way for
This is a unique part of
Andy,
Freeman.
years.
Andy,
Because the whole thing is it's 4.5 years left on his contract. Who's to say any of us are still gonna be sitting in these seats in 4.5 years to make that decision at that time before who's ever sitting in these seats might decide
Why do we do what we did?
to do something different, completely different than what we're talking about today. So,
Yeah, but that's the prerogative of the council at that time.
yeah, I know.
But we're the council now.
I get that. But we make a decision to expand that into the police station and forego that, which is fine, whichever. I mean, I think we need a police station more than we need to add on to the bar myself, because there is absolutely no privacy for police when they bring in, people in to have discussions.
Yeah, I
And
get that.
To me, that is way more important for their anonymity than it is to add on to a bar for extra revenue and whatnot. So, as it stands now, that's where I will stand with that, so.
Well,
we have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'm gonna, just for Jay, just to put this, let's put it out there. I'm gonna make a motion.
We need to,
Yeah, we need to do
we
something.
need to,
So,
this needs to finish tonight. And there's only one way you finish it.
Yep, I understand.
Go ahead, sir.
yeah,
So is the plans to keep the police station hooked on to City Hall? Is that how the procedure is? I mean, the protocol that you guys want to work with? Or were you thinking more like the water treatment plant?
No.
No, I don't think any of us are thinking water treatment.
Okay, I just wanted, I didn't know how close you wanted in the proximity.
We'd like to keep it as close as we can.
Okay.
Is that something
Mike.
you would want, Scott? I mean, they're talking about moving you in there. Is that something that you would agree with? Or would you
Well-
rather be in a private place off-site?
The reason I was thinking, like, I know I've talked to Cody a few times about the water treatment plant is because it's kind of away from here. So like Terry said, if we bring somebody in, or we bring a juvenile in, or somebody from Freeman, they're not going, oh, next day it's all over town, and everybody knows what they're here for.
It's off of the main drag area.
This is a busy street here with just City Hall people coming in and out.
Yeah.
Right,
So
so,
your recommendation off-site?
He'd slow down that by 3 hours.
you mean,
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any other further discussion? Call roll.
Gehring,
no,
Jacobson,
No.
Sorry,
Yes.
Jaden,
No.
Euchre,
yes.
Waltner,
No.
Okay,
Now we know.
Yep.
Yeah, now we know.
it's probably not what you came in here for, but,
Right, but after 3 years, it's, at least now we know.
Yeah.
well, I'm sorry,
Right.
Jay, but, I mean, I felt for you the last meeting, actually. I mean, I'd want to know.
Yeah.
It's probably not the answer you wanted, but it's an answer.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So, it is, I guarantee you, it is, has nothing to do with, I mean, you run an excellent ship over there. And I've never had a complaint, but,
Appreciate it.
So-
Appreciate your time.
but at least we got to the end.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jay.
Yep, see you, Jay.
There is a, is it second reading?
Yeah. I make a motion to approve ordinance 2021-08.
A second.
Second, huh?
who is it? Who am I?
Terry, it doesn't matter.
Terry Jacobson. Okay. Roll. Jacobson,
Yes.
sorry,
Yes.
Jaden,
Yes.
Euchre,
Yes.
Waltner,
Yes.
Gehring.
Chad's here, okay. Maybe a couple more in here. Temporary, second reading, temporary medical cannabis ordinance.
Motion to approve.
Second one.
Call roll.
Sorry,
Yes.
Jaden,
Yes.
Euchre,
Yes.
Waltner,
Yes.
Gehring, Jacobson.
Yes.
Are any of the guests here for, to the repeal of the fence ordinances? I doubt it, okay? We're gonna push that on down. That could, Mr. Huey's here. Hugh or Huey?
Evie.
Oh, geez, that wasn't even close. From Stockwell Engineering. Mr. Fink is here. And we have a resolution, the real estate to the Freeman Development Corporation. Mike, you want to expound on that? Is
Okay,
this-
so I was asked to prepare a resolution and a deed that relates to the city granting a portion of property to the Development Corporation for use in the West Side development. And talking to Mayor and to the mayor and then Doug, I think the intention of the council was to keep a portion of this property as a potential future holding pond.
Retention pond, yeah.
Retention pond. And so probably what is gonna have to happen is we're gonna have to figure out a legal description for that property that the city is going to retain. And so the resolution I prepared has the old railroad line, there's a 100-foot strip railroad line, and then it's had different names over the years, but then there's a lot 42A and lot 50A. That's located in what would be the furthest northeast corner of that new development. And I think the intention is, again, to keep some of that as a future retention pond. So I don't think you want to pass this resolution, because I think there's a piece of this that you want to hold back.
Yeah, because 42A and 50A is the Reese property.
Right.
It's,
We want to keep a sliver of that long-winded one that we said last.
right.
Yeah.
Visuals would be helpful.
Problem is it isn't divide, it's tough to divide out.
Yeah.
Because that sliver goes, and we were gonna run, I think, Mr. Gehring said, we need some property, we were gonna go straight line down from that corner.
This one was 50.
And it's not so easy to just put a name on all that.
No, it's not.
Is it, that's pretty much all the slough area there, the low area, is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
It's what they cleaned out the trees.
Right.
Just exactly that spot. That's lot 50A.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have that on yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
You
to
wanna
Hudson-
jump on?
You can go to Hutchinson
Huh?
County.
You wanna jump onto the rookie? And then you can display it?
Do I have to plug in somewhere?
All you gotta do is go into your settings for wireless display.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
Charlie, can you?
Ultimately, what I'm envisioning is a replat of 42A and 50A. And then the city has title to it, so we go through the replatting process, create a new description, and then we can convey the right footage to the CDC.
And that doesn't include the alley, right?
No. Behind those
That-
properties. It would not.
Okay.
The alley don't go that far.
It doesn't go that far, that's fine.
The alley only goes behind
I think that's right. I think that's,
Dan's.
Yeah,
And
right.
the signs.
It stops at 50A.
No,
I think it's an alley to nowhere.
Right.
And it stops there.
to the south.
Then we can
That's all.
all,
You should just email.
it might pick it up. Go ahead.
If it don't, Charlie,
Doing it-
go to District
just-
3.
Can do.
go to
Can you
Hudson
email
County,
it?
Pull it up on your
Oh, on
computer.
their,
Yeah.
on their website?
On,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
on
it's gonna pull it.
it's on our, okay.
Okay. Oh, you're going through our.
Yeah, it's going
But it's
through.
that'd be the
No,
same
we're
picture.
going through his computer, I think. But yeah, it's
This
on our
is,
website.
this is the best map that I have. That's 50A, that's 42A, and this is our.
You have a
this is
map?
way of-
Doug, let me see what
And
you have
the
there.
whole reason for
I
this is
actually
the
do.
DY
Here,
water.
I have the
No,
latest.
this is to get
What I
more
have to go
footage.
to,
for-
Lonnie?
What's that?
Try it again.
So this is gonna be
This is what,
this triangle here.
this is where we go.
She says it's on Freeman's website.
Should I just make
It's on
copies?
Freeman's website.
This
On
is where we
Freeman's?
want.
Yeah, so go to Freeman and then it should be
The
under.
piece
Say it.
This is
I
all
think this
city
is,
then.
I don't know what she's got.
So this is retention pond.
Then go to Hudson
This is
County,
gonna be all,
then zoom in on
So
Freeman.
it'd probably be most of 42A.
I'm surprised that it's not, you could try it again.
Is this the one
It
you
might
got?
connect.
It'd be mostly
Is this the one you're
50A.
showing him, Doug?
Top
Yes.
triangle piece.
Should I just go
No,
make
I'm showing the
copies?
count.
he's gonna have to go
Okay.
and shoot.
You're looking at the same thing I got here.
Yeah, they're,
Right, but he's
Doug
got,
doesn't have any lot lines on it. I mean, he's got lot lines, but not.
so Charlie,
Not,
No,
you
yeah,
not
you
that.
can go to cityofFreeman.org,
That one,
Even
I'm
if
cutting
you
the wrong
get
one.
this pulled up.
business
That's
and
what they're trying to
development.
I think the concern at the last meeting by you, Mr. Jaden and Mr. Gearing, and rightfully so, we want to make sure we have place for a retention pond. Am I correct there?
What are you on?
Right.
What did you say?
And actually, we're gonna,
CityofFreeman.org.
Yeah.
we're gonna be taking some of the Development Corporation's property.
Okay.
Well, because
However
we're,
it works, but
yeah.
we don't
he
want
can show you there.
Yeah,
He's got the
to
map
ourselves.
there.
So this is 50A
The one
here.
prepared by
This is
district.
42A. This is that 100-foot strip in there.
There we go. Sorry.
Sounds,
Okay, you got it. You're up.
it looks
I
like
thought it would connect.
the retention pond is gonna be
Just close out
sort
your
of this
display
top
box.
sliver here.
Just click anywhere on the
So
other
maybe
part, it'll
replat.
disappear.
Just click on the map.
Click on the map.
Like this maybe.
There you go.
Straight up or
Okay.
straight over.
We're not giving this,
Right,
so I would do this,
straight over to the west.
so that this is.
I mean, it parallels, if you
But
made it,
actually, we need into here, because
For
isn't
the
that where
creek.
the old bridge is?
Yeah,
And that's the
Yeah.
low spot in here?
yep.
We.
Yeah, but if we hold it back here, it can go
Yeah,
up.
I'm going to.
Yeah, I mean, this
Well,
could
I
be
mean,
the
we can
holding
just,
area.
yeah,
This is
that's
escape
the,
areas
that's the
there.
picture right there. You can see the blue that's highlighted there. That is,
That's 50A.
that's 50, that's the Reese property
50A,
for
42A.
the newer
What I'm
silos.
proposing is that from this corner line here, we would go straight across to this property here.
Charlie makes a point though that apparently there's a waterway that catches the very corner of this lot here, the 100-foot strip.
Mm-hmm.
Right on the line.
Oh, it's further in.
But if we're replatting, we could create whatever
Shape.
shape you want.
We have two,
That alley, we're gonna have to take
we have two ways
to the north
here.
more.
Lonnie, we have two ways here. This is one, and then the old.
Chad, do you have anything to add or subtract here, or are you just lost like the rest of
Make
us?
this big enough, you wanna have both, you wanna
I
have
will,
this and
I can
that.
comment.
Well,
if-
it's our land.
when
Yeah.
everybody's-
You're familiar, you've been back there.
Can't we just find a way to square it off so we, I mean, if we have a little bit extra than what we're thinking, was,
So,
So we cover ourselves.
so
we
we can.
can, so you take that perpendicular line that's running to the northwest and slide it all the way down to the triangle.
Like this?
No, the other one.
Other way, up there, the green one.
And go to the
Yeah,
southwest.
keep going, Charlie. Right
Okay.
there, okay, take that green line, the property line there on the railway,
Yeah,
the one that's to your
Right.
right.
right. Just slide that line down to that
Slide it
triangle.
down.
Straight down
Pull that
south.
green
That's what
line
we're
where your finger's
proposing.
at, and
Yeah.
pull it down to that.
Just make it
triangle.
straight,
Oh.
so you don't
Oh,
have
like
to.
so?
No,
No,
to the point.
To the point.
Draw it.
From here? I'm confused, mate.
okay,
You'll take this
This
green
would
line
be-
right here,
this is the current
and you'll
property
just
line,
pull it
right?
all the way
Oh,
down
that's
here.
that, yeah, that's
So
that.
it goes
yep,
straight
that's
across.
And
like
this is the
this.
triangle
Oh,
right
okay,
here,
I see
right?
what you're saying. Just move it down.
Right here.
Yeah, yeah.
But what, Is this enough room for our pond in here?
Yeah, there you go, just like
Yes.
that.
That's the whole reason.
So this part here
This
is
is just
not,
the whole reef.
I mean, that's where
This would
the
be-
pond's gonna be.
Where Dan is right
So
now.
this lot would shrink,
Dan.
I don't know how
Dan.
many feet that would be,
Dan's
Well, we'll
the
just
next
have
one.
to, that's this one.
Yeah,
but it's still a pretty good size.
That was, but
That's
we would take
where-
this too. This would be part of the city
That-
too, right?
right.
If you can
Yeah.
flat that and square it off and make sure that we have
Enough
ample.
in here.
I mean, that's the way to do it, so you don't have all of that.
The Development Corporation is not gonna have a problem. It's
Right.
already a 2-acre lot.
Right.
That, it is not
What do
necessary.
they just say? They're
What I say is we let these gentlemen go in
Yeah,
there,
just slide it.
figure out what, they've got to survey this thing, see where the water's gonna run, see exactly where it can run,
Doing anything with
because there's,
this.
I'm sure gonna be dirt work. And then let them, and with, they will know, have in mind that there could be a retention pond going in. Chad, am I correct here? And then you tell us,
Yeah, so I mean, this, as you guys know, this, you know, most of this land drains right to where we're talking to. And so, between, the lots that front Cedar and then the land that will be developed, we'll put a swale in there that catches that water. If there's a low spot in there, we'll try to regrade some of that to get that water so it goes north in a nice channel. And then everything that's that's in that railroad, I'll call the old railroad right-of-way that flows from to the northeast, most of that drains that way as well. And so we will also, if we have to go into that railroad right-of-way and take out some of the scrub trees and do some regrading to make sure that these lots that we are building, the goal would be to drain them, you know, to that railroad right-of-way and then drain them to the northeast, to get them where they're already going today. And so, and we're not, you know, we're not talking, I mean, well, it's all impervious today, but we're not gonna be adding, you know, we're gonna add some rooftops and streets, but we'll account for that water to make sure we have enough storage capacity up there, and then we're not releasing any more water than we are today. And so, there has to be some, you know, we have this, you guys I think we have something drawn out in here, that northeast lot is kind of a goofy looking lot, and so, you know, Doug had mentioned that maybe we should, today we have 4 lots around that cul-de-sac bulb, maybe we change it to 3, and we try to square things up, and then as we're platting, you know, as we're platting these lots, we can plat some of these other lots as we have to as well during this plat.
Or you could leave that until we actually know what we need and just plat to the south of there and to the west of there currently.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll know soon, I guess, how much water we're talking about and what drainage and what grading has to be done back there.
So what do we gotta do tonight?
Well, so what I'm envisioning is that you still want to convey the corridor, most of the corridor to the Development Corporation. Is that where we're at?
Yes.
I mean,
without legal description, I guess.
well, I think to move forward, just a simple motion to direct the engineer to create a replat, and I'll give you the last deed of record of the corridor 42A and 50A into a piece that you know is gonna go to the Development Corporation and can be added in to the development, and then hold back what you think you might need for water. Call that a different description.
Yeah, we'll just call it a separate lot.
Yeah, so, and I've got the last deed, I'll give that to you before you go, so you can use that for your
Okay.
replat. And I think you have to kind of decide what piece you know can go to the Development Corporation, so that you can then get the lots designed.
And we may only end up platting, you know, based what happens on the west side with the water easement, we may only be platting, we may not be platting all the way to the west anyway. So we'll just have to play it by ear, but we can certainly do what you're asking, and then
Again, this is a, how we'll have it drawn up will be considered a preliminary plat that you guys will approve. And it really doesn't become final until, the end of the day when the work's be done. And we're ready to go out and set property pins.
I mean, from here that way, if you kept all that back, you could grant the rest of the 100-foot corridor and move forward.
Well, couldn't you just grant it and know the distance on that we're keeping there, say less?
Minus
Yeah.
100 foot or whatever. Because,
I mean, when I go through the replats, I'm hoping that we, ourselves as a city, get rid of our lots there into one big one. We own them 2 bottom lots on Cedar Street itself.
He's done.
There's an alley we gotta abandon that's in between them, but that one that's running north and south, we wanna keep that, right? That's where you're talking the ditch,
Well, if,
swale.
we could,
See, the Cedar Street, when it overruns, that's where it goes, behind them lots.
you could either keep the alley, or you could release it or vacate it with the plat, and then we put a drainage easement.
Yeah, whatever, but that's where we're thinking, right? But we gotta have that because,
You need water to run through.
yeah.
right,
As all
And I think
capacity.
we've shared that with you, that was a concern
But I
behind
think-
those houses.
On this platting, why wouldn't you vacate that alleyway with the plat? Is there any reason you'd ever want the alley back there?
We just don't want it drawn into the.
Not if we get a
lots,
drainage easement.
Into the lots, yeah, so as long as there's drainage.
if we got a drainage easement, that's not a problem at all. I don't see it. If we don't get a drainage easement, we want the alley so that we can use it. Either way, I mean, it's.
Well, you own the bottom
Beyond-
2 lots, so you would give yourself, if you're not gonna need it for transportation purposes or vehicles, then,
I don't know when it's ever been used for that.
so as
I don't
long as
think
you
most
have,
people even know it's back there.
I didn't understand.
we would just regrade it to make sure everything flows to the north, and
Better-
revegetate it, and it would, look like,
Greenway.
Greenway most of the time.
Best thing right there.
Great view on the backside of our shed.
It's a little hard to describe the
Tonight.
end of that
Have
100-foot
business.
corridor, because if we say the east so many feet of the corridor, east is straight.
Yeah, it'd
It'd be a little hard to describe it.
be north, yeah,
Well, Doug is very good at sending me marked up drawings with dimensions on it, so
Well, you know what we want, so just make it the way it is.
Just do it, yeah. And he'll catch Julie on a good day. What are our next steps?
So the next steps would be, we'll put together what's called the preliminary plat, which will maybe be 5 or 6 sheets like this. It'll show the current legal descriptions. We'll have a sheet that shows proposed lot and blocks, a utility plan that shows water and sewer, a grading plan or drainage plan that shows where we envision the water going. That'll go to the planning commission, and then it'll come here for approval. And once that's done, then we'll bring forward construction plans when that's done. And then once we're ready to go, we'll do a public bid. We'll open bids, we'll start the work. And at some point then, a final plat will be presented, which will then show where the property lines are going to exactly be in case something has to move as we go through this. And then you guys will approve the final plat, and
How solid are we on where the roads are gonna go? How solid are we?
I think we're solid as can be, based on the last drawing we sent.
The 30-foot. It was, instead of moving the road 60, we went 30, correct?
Yep.
Has anybody seen those drawings from us at the council?
Well, do you have anything, drawings?
The drawing needs to be reworked. That whole top corner that we're talking about is kind of goofy on the.
Be nice to
drawing
see that.
he's got.
We have, you know what, we've got about 85% of it's really easy to do, Charlie. It's the corners that are giving
Yeah,
us grief here.
That
Has
corner,
that been annexed yet?
And
Annexation gone through?
Not yet.
no,
No, we haven't.
we're waiting to determine the final line.
So what probably will happen is the road, we're gonna probably go, because we don't know when we're gonna find out on the west end, but we go ahead and go in as far as with the street and the cul-de-sac as far as we can. And, and wait until BY,
I didn't go out to see if they marked it, I called in a locate, so I'll have to go out and see if there's any flags.
so, but we would like to, get going.
Did they commit to they were gonna actually locate it?
I think so, yeah.
He's calling me locate. They have to. They have to, by law.
Yeah. There, Dewey had a discussion with them, so it sounded like they were gonna go out and flag it.
Yeah.
I didn't go by there tonight, so.
I'll drive by there when I go and just take a peek. Because then we'll come down and we'll get all the shots so we know exactly where that line's at.
Well, there's a real question about where that 60-foot space is. I went to the Register of Deeds office and they were confused by the easement language as well. We know it's way on the west end, but exactly where that 60 feet is, that's the question.
So what would help me, I guess, Doug, is if you could mark this up with how this group feels it should look like.
Yeah.
And that'll be a starting point for us.
Okay.
And then we'll.
I think Terry's line was right.
Yeah. We'll go straight.
Slide down.
That line there?
And then just square it
Go
off.
straight, go just straight over.
And then this is all city property then.
Yeah.
Just have clean lines instead.
That's what I would
Mhm,
say
absolutely.
too.
That's more than you have. It's more than you had before, and you were gonna get dealing.
Because none of that ground that's left is buildable.
No.
I mean, it's
All
all.
flood area.
Yeah.
So that whole.
But we need
water-
it for.
Yeah, but we need it for water.
That BY water easement, that's just an easement that they can pass through there with water, correct? What effect is that really having on us as far as plotting it out, just because they have access to build across it?
Well, per the easement language, we can't, nothing can be built in that easement.
Oh, but over it,
Yes.
yeah, okay. I get that, no structure can be built on it, but as far as like property, if you sold that as a lot with that easement attached to that lot, with the understanding that they can't build over top of it, it's still within the legalities, right?
Yeah, all these new lots always typically have some kind of easement on them. The property remains yours, it's your responsibility to maintain the easement, it just gives that utility company the right to go in there at some point.
And
if they need to.
if I'm correct, it's you can't put a non-movable structure on there. You could actually build a road over top of that easement with the understanding that they may have to come in and dig it up, which would tear up your road, correct?
I think the easement language that's there today is very vague
Okay.
as far as what can happen, but typically your utilities would be in the right of way, which
Yes.
then, in private utility companies or rural water companies, they usually don't go in the right of way because they're going across fields and they end up being just wherever they're at.
And it's a pain in the butt when they have road moves.
So Terry, if kind of the issue is if this is the 60-foot, the 60-foot easement location, then that's gonna create some lot opportunities here. If the water line happens to be way over here though, then you're gonna.
They don't know where it is.
With the roads and stuff is the change, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, plus then this lot really would be worthless if this
If
is all.
it's way over here, well, we would just create a really big lot
Yeah,
with the
but-
easement in the backyard.
You'd lose two lots, you'd only go down to one
Well,
then.
you could still have a lot just with.
You could actually put an alley back there.
Right, I mean, you're not really losing.
For
a lot.
access
You
to the
just-
backyards
you have
for
stipulations
people
when that lot is sold, you cannot.
further
build
in
on top
or
of
towards
that
the back.
easement.
It's kind of like these south lots, there's an easement right here, and so the backyard, the homeowner will have to make sure they don't build on top of.
Like a shed or something.
Yep.
Yep.
Or if they,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, well, that's what I thought I understood that it was, but,
We just don't know where it's at,
yeah.
and that's kind of been the whole screw-up thing.
Well, Mr. Frank, what would prevent us from planting an alley back there to allow access to the backyards for people further in, and therefore avoiding any hassle of people building on it or anything like that?
Absolutely, yep. And that's,
That's what I
Charlie,
was talking about, the road part.
Charlie, if you look at the language that they used back in 1980, whatever, for this easement, it refers to a 60-foot easement located in the west 400 feet of that wedge-shaped property. Well, it doesn't say where in that 400 feet the 60-foot strip is. And so that's where we have to flag it. And I've already talked to Jeff Cole, the attorney for BY Water, and he knows there's a problem. At some point in time, there's gonna have to be a more formal description of exactly where those 60 feet are. And then we can put an alley in or some other.
But experience tells me that they don't really know where it is either.
And you would be very much correct. The point is, we have tried not to let BY hold us up. And we've worked around the feeder line with them. We had thoughts of buying an easement to the south of the pipe instead of north like it is, and nothing. And now, so we just went on and we moved the road over. So now we're fighting that 16-inch line, the north-south line there. And so instead of just waiting, holding the whole project up, we'll take that road in as far as we can. We feel we can safely, put the cul-de-sac in, sell what we can for now, and fight this in the courts or wherever it needs to be fought down the road.
Which is about 80% of the whole project anyway. We can get to 85% of the project.
Yeah, we're talking
So it's
maybe,
just
we're
peanuts
talking
at the
maybe
end.
couple lots.
Yeah,
maybe,
it's
that,
not much.
but this would hold the whole thing up for years if we keep fooling around with BY. So the Development Corporation is anxious. They would like to be selling property at the Turner County Fair. They got a booth and they're all excited. And there's so I know, Chad, cowboy up, you're gonna have to. So, they would like to have, this is for sale and so forth. And there's a lot of work to do before that, but it's always BY that is holding us back.
Tomorrow I'll get this adjusted on that north end. I'll send it to you, Doug. You can doctor it up if it needs to be, and then if it's finalized, then you can send it and distribute it, and we'll go from there.
Okay, I'll send it around to these guys.
Anything else you would like to
No,
speak to us
just,
about?
thank you for having me.
Anybody else have questions for Chad?
Later.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Just let me know and I'll be here, so.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir. You want repeal of the fence ordinance? Is there anything else about that before, you want to hit the development agreement? Or is that with,
The joint agreement.
with the Community Development Corporation? Is that the one you
Oh.
wrote up?
Yeah. If you guys saw in the packet, the development agreement, it's a 2-page deal. I believe there should have been one in the packet. Basically, it's an agreement most cities have with, when they come to developments with either private entities or their local development corporations. If you read through it, it's pretty simple. It says what it is, what we've done, what we're doing, how we want to oversee it between the city and the development corporation, how we want to set aside $5,000 off the sale of the first lot into a fund to use as maintenance and upkeep. But really, the root of this agreement kind of holds with the South Dakota Legislative Audit. They're the ones that really want to see our agreement. So I sent it up to Rod Fortin. He's looking it over. There's certain stipulations when a city commits to a project that we have to be careful of, so.
Has he got back to you yet?
He is not. And I sent this up to him late last week, and I thought I'd get him today, and I never got it.
Okay, so this is gonna wait.
So this, yeah, this is, nothing's gonna happen on this tonight, but
And there'll be a different legal description too.
there will be, the legal description needs to be adjusted. Lonnie, Mike doesn't like that legal description the county has on there. On this page.
Tell him,
What's that?
tell him,
Where did you get it? Who gave it to you?
It's on
right
the,
off the website.
on the page I had up there.
Gotta be real then.
Yeah.
It's on the internet, it's gotta be real.
But what I want is you gentlemen to look that over, is that everything we discussed when the Development Corporation was in here before? You know,
Yeah.
that's what we didn't miss anything?
No, we don't wanna act on it tonight, Terry.
No.
We'll just,
We want to make sure, we don't want to have to change it again if the legislative audit
Has
says we have to
BY
change a few
signed off on us
sentences.
providing water.
So they did vote to approve. I haven't seen the document back. But Jeff Cole told me they did approve the new agreement. So I'll follow up on that to make sure we have that for the next meeting.
Is there anything else on West Side Properties, Councilman or Mr. Fink?
No.
We've covered that all. Repeal of the fence ordinance? You have that in front
yeah,
of us.
the number got cropped off.
It got cropped off because there was
Some
a discrepancy.
discrepancies, okay.
So we'll need to add it back.
Yeah, shoot. I gotta find mine. So there should be a title on it that should say City of Freeman.
It says repealing is what it starts with.
You looking for the ordinance number?
Yeah, we
Mine
need
says
it.
repealing section 6.0609.
Yeah, there should be a heading on there that,
When the packet came to me, there were two documents with the very same ordinance number. Lisa Edelman wasn't sure if this one required one, so we just, to avoid duplication of ordinance numbers, we're able to add it on.
so it'd be ordinance number 2021-11.
11.
If you wanna write that on top.
Okay.
City of Freeman, ordinance number 2021-11.
Say that number one more time there, Doug.
Thank you, Terry.
I have something that was listening. Thank you.
Unless it's the parking ordinance that you want the different number to.
No.
Okay.
This is good.
Well, it says number 11 on there, so.
So this would be first reading of the, you repeal the same way you put in, right?
Yep.
And Mike advised on this one that, just to clean up our ordinances, our city ordinances, that we should take it out of our city ordinances because we put it into the zoning ordinance. So, all this is doing is cleaning it up, pretty simple.
Councilman, we put in a new, okay.
First reading then.
First reading, yeah.
That's all you're doing.
Second reading, it looks like July 6th.
8th.
8th?
Okay, municipal gross receipts, tax, liquor tax, refund, cash, contract, bond, refund. That's still you, Doug.
Okay, on that one, the municipal gross receipts tax is gonna be starting July 1st. From what I've talked to retailers, they've received information. I know Lori had a full pamphlet here of what they can and can't, or what they need to and what they don't need to tax, so the retailer should be getting this. Again, this is kind of out of our hands, it's Department of Revenue's work, but that's part of the information they're getting. So, that's set to start. Then, going with that.
July 1, right?
July 1, yep. With that, as far as the city's concerned, there is some spots the city needs to look at, the golf course and the concession stand at the swimming pool. I read in here that concession stands were part of it, so we have to, whoever,
Tailor that.
Report that.
yeah.
Have we got any paperwork yet from the state?
I don't know.
I've
Getting
got some.
kinda close. What?
I have some.
Well, we sure should have, but I don't get the mail, so.
I don't notice on it. You should add a notice on it.
Michael got a notice on it, so. You got a notice on it a couple months ago.
Everybody that gets paid
Yeah.
sales tax gets I checked, it was a separate, undercover, separate letter notifying that anybody that's paying sales tax in town, notifying us,
Oh,
and
the
there are a couple other
business,
towns that
yeah,
are going on.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the business.
Generic.
Right, yeah.
What'll happen is when, next time I get my DOR from, there's a place for the 2%, there's all the state junk, and then there's the city. All we have right now is the city sales, 2% sales tax on there. What's gonna be, there'll be another, line added to that, and that's the, whatever they call it, the bed and booze tax, 1%. Anybody that is presently getting, the city of Freeman, is getting that now, will have that added to the line item, and that will come out. It starts July 1st, so they really won't receive that till August 1st. They start collecting July 1st, and you'd get the letter from the state August 1st. Payable August 20th. So,
It was 1%, right, or is it one?
One.
Yeah,
One.
1%, yeah. Yeah,
So Charlie, I don't know if you want to talk to the pool or you want me to talk to him, it doesn't matter, but, and
Yeah,
then
we need to let Taylor
we
know.
need to.
Rory knows, so,
But
he knew this was
Taylor, yeah.
coming, so.
Okay, so along with the start of that new tax then, I believe we ought to go back and refund back the people that have paid the 15% tariff. Basically, I talked to the two retailers that we have. There's about $30,000 in inventory that they paid 15% on.
well, they'd be double taxing if we.
They'd be double taxing because now July 1st, they're gonna start around and collect the tax.
So it's on their existing inventory that they have not sold, but they've paid tax on.
They've paid tax on.
So they should really take inventory June 30th.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
And let us know what's still in stock and what was sold.
Right,
Right.
And we can refund.
totally agree with that, because they'd be being taxed on what they've been taxed on already.
So,
So
it's,
Well,
basically,
people that
be
are buying
approved.
are the ones that are gonna
It would-
be taxed.
Gotcha.
but, so if there's 25 to 30,000 in inventory out there, that's $3,750 to $4,500 to. Okay, so then, along with that then, Hoots and the shopping center each has the $2,500 bond. They should get those back too, because liquor days
Is
are
it a
over.
cash bond or is it a surety bond?
You know, I believe, I look in the contract, I think it was a cash bond, but I don't know.
No, I'm checking that, but I think it was a cat, I mean, just from what we were looking at with,
I probably got it.
months ago with Jay there.
Cash bond.
Yeah. I thought so. And so with that, so if someone comes in and applies for a liquor license now, are they gonna have, they won't need a bond?
The last liquor license that we authorized
I
did not
understand that,
have a
but
bond on it.
From here on forward, I mean, is that just an assumption then? Because we're not,
Let me back up. The bond was for, because when the city went, got out of the bar business,
Right.
retail side, the city actually paid for the liquor invoices
Oh.
for these retailers.
okay.
So the city paid the bill, the retailers paid the city.
Oh, boy.
So the bond was there in case that business closed up and stayed in the city.
Yeah,
That's no longer the case.
okay.
And it hasn't been the case for 5 years, 6 years now, probably. Because I was in the store when we changed
So
it.
who all has a bond now?
Just Boots and shopping center.
Doc's never had a bond.
No.
No.
They came
Because
in
they came in after, they paid their own invoices.
We switched by then.
Yes.
I remember that happening.
So they would need to pull inventory July 1st. Or
Yep, do an
June
inventory.
30th, whatever.
Yep.
Pull inventory. Give us a list.
And I'm assuming that's just gonna be on the honor system?
Well-
They're gonna, I mean, what else could we do?
But you wanna go out there and help
No,
us?
I don't.
That's the only other option I could think of, Lonnie.
Just so they know, I mean.
No, I don't. I don't know another way to do it. It's not like old days where you used to go over and take inventory every year at the bar.
Shake the bottle, yeah.
Yeah. So, but that needs to be done.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
I don't know that, I mean,
Happy
that's,
for
I
that.
yeah, they'll be happy for that.
Do we need a motion to
don't know if
reimburse that
I'm
money?
looking at, I don't know that we would need
Well, we'll
to.
have to know the exact amount, so when they do,
That'll be a
that'll be
July
on the
thing.
8th.
Okay,
And I imagine the bond will be on the 8th too, it'll all be done that night, right? You Just reimburse it all
Yeah.
that night?
okay.
It'll be on the new system by 1st.
I think that's all I got.
Well, okay, parking ordinance. I think Lonnie sent everybody a revised ordinance.
Can you put it up on the screen so everybody can see that?
I don't have one either.
It wasn't in the pack, I was told.
You have it?
Yeah, I got it.
Did you get it, Charlie? I sent it.
Yeah, finally.
Charlie, can you just
I'm looking for
just
it.
email it to me too?
Oh, where are you, Lonnie?
I don't know.
I'm looking.
Wait, right there. Right there, up, there you go.
There we go. That might not be the last one, though.
See, right there. Would you please print these for C?
Well.
But wait a minute.
That one.
What's that?
She gets a demerit for that one.
Let me go back. I think that's not the,
That's the
not
first one.
the change.
There you go.
Yeah, changes, yeah.
And it's on that one too, see that?
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
All right.
You're gonna have to make it a lot bigger, so it's readable
Yeah.
on this side of the room.
Even on this side here.
I'm only this far from my computer.
I know.
Oh.
Seems to get any better with it.
Page layout, yeah.
Can you email it to me?
How big can I go? Why can't I find it?
Should be able to just edit it. I didn't go to home and then just highlight it all and go to whatever.
That's where I need to view, is where I need to go.
Go Zoom.
Well, come on, view,
You were off Zoom.
It did go a little bit.
view,
Go back to view.
view, 100%.
No, click on the one that says Zoom,
Zoom.
right next to it.
Oh, okay.
There.
How big do we want to go? 200%.
Yeah, that's big.
Now, I get rid of,
Give her your
what was that one? There.
I didn't get it all there. There you go.
That's as big as I can get it.
You got it?
We got there.
Lonnie, you want to expound on it?
Success.
Okay, this is Article 4 and Article 5 of the Freeman zoning ordinances, which is R1, single and two family district, and R2, multifamily district. This does not affect B1, B2, industrial, or ag. Section 407 and 507 concurrently are the conditional uses allowed in the parking area. I added, and the 17 and 41 would be the last number of the conditional uses that are listed. Parking over the allowed specified motor vehicles, major recreation equipment, and other non-licensed equipment. So if you want more than what is said here, then you go to planning and zoning with an applied conditional use At that time, they will either deny or approve with conditions. And then, just like tonight, it would come back to the council after that meeting. We have them the same day. And then this is 411 and 517. The paragraphs are different because there's different paragraphs in each, but these would be the last paragraph, or last section of those zonings.
Of the permitted use.
Right. Of the permitted, correct. Front yard parking. You can all read, but it's parking in front yard is confined to 12 hours to be used only for construction, loading, unloading, and snow removal. Now, there was discussion last winter, if you remember, about where they're gonna park when we do a snow emergency and they don't have a place to park, and we said on the front lawn. Well, they're still gonna be allowed to do that. What they're not gonna be allowed to do is park on their front lawn as a permanent parking spot. And the 12 hours is random, you guys wanna change it, that's fine, I just picked 12 hours, and what it's really for is the snow removal and construction, and moving in and out. All right, that's the front yard parking. The side yard parking is, side yard parking must maintain the required side setback, which is 10 foot in Freeman. And the parking stall shall consist of asphalt, cement, crushed rock, or gravel, and meet the stall size specified in Article 13 of the zoning ordinance. Side yard parking may not exceed one licensed motor vehicle, major recreation equipment, or licensed trailer. Temporary parking is limited to 12 hours to be used for construction, loading, unloading, and snow removal. No permanent stall is required for the temporary. And that is the 10 foot on your side lots. That's your setback in Freeman. Now, again, you got smaller lots. We just did one night tonight that was 60 foot. All right, if they can't be the 10, which would take them down to 40 foot in the back, they would have to come in for a condition of this. Rear yard parking. Rear yard parking must maintain the required setback, which is 3 foot from the right of way of the alley, long ways. And the side setback on the sides. No permanent stall is required, so you can park on your grass. Parking is restricted to 2 motor vehicles and 2 trailers. The maximum numbers include major recreation equipment and other non-licensed equipment. Okay, the right-of-way parking, that is your front, the boulevard, as some of you call it.
Front of your house.
Front of your house. Right-of-way parking is allowed by licensed vehicles only and must be completely off the roadway, which our ordinance already says that. At no time is parking allowed in the visibility triangle. Our ordinance, different place already says that too, but I wanted it all readily available in the parking. And the visibility triangle is defined in our ordinance, and if I remember right, it's depending on the size of your street. On a major thoroughfare like 6th Street, it's 50 foot, and on a regular street, I believe it's 30. That goes in the triangle, so in them areas, you cannot park whatsoever. And that's already in our ordinance, by the way, too. Commercial vehicle parking. Now, there was a little confusion, I think, in the last meeting on commercial vehicle parking, as in, the ladies that were here were thinking semis, that kind of thing, all right? Which we already, in our town ordinance, is already illegal, but it was never been enforced. But I added it here, commercial vehicle parking. At no time may a commercial vehicle rated over 6.7 ton gross vehicle weight rating capacity be parked permanently in the front, side, rear, or right of way. All right, that 6.7 ton GVWR will get you a F-350, a 3500 Chevrolet, and what's Dodge calls there, the 3500, I believe. So you can have a 1-ton commercial vehicle that you go back and forth to work with if you work with Golden West or you work with Southeast or Northwestern Public, whatever. You're driving that to work, yes, you can park there just like if I had a 1-ton pickup and pulled a gooseneck trailer for camping. All right, you're allowed that. So you got a pickup, Expedition, whatever the company gives you or your company has, you can park there for your transportation. Semis, no. You know, anything over a 1-ton pickup, no. I picked 1-ton arbitrarily. There are some people that use heavy 1-ton pickups for their work that use them as daily. If you want to lower it to 3/4 ton, I have no problem, whatever you want to change here. I don't care, I just want to get this done, all right?
1 ton's fine.
And then existing permanent parking stalls. Now, I know there is some areas in town that have already parking stalls that do not fit this requirement. And they are permanent, and they've already got gravel, they've already got cement, or they've already have crushed rock. Those are still allowed. If they're there now, and they've been being used, there hasn't been a problem evidently, because we haven't heard about it. So you're getting along with your neighbor, et cetera, we're not taking that away. Or, I don't feel we should take it away, all right? And then one definition we did not have in our ordinance was a motor vehicle, and this is just what I think a motor vehicle is. It's a motor vehicle is any vehicle that can be licensed by the state of South Dakota for use on public highways, or any vehicle that in its original form could be licensed to be used on public highways. All right, that lets you, if you're a motorhead like Charlie, but you don't have a shop, you can bring your car in the backyard, it don't have an engine, it ain't licensed, you're working on it, it's still legal. It's one of the two. All right, it can't go on the boulevard or the right-of-way because it is not licensed. That's it in a nutshell. So change, add, whatever, but let's get this done.
I want clarification, Lonnie, and I should have asked you the other day. Let me find it here. Rear yard parking, the last line there, numbers include major recreation equipment, I get that, and other non-licensed equipment. Should that be unlicensable equipment?
Yeah, right.
You understand what I'm-
Was 17 lawnmowers in your backyard, okay? 'Cause I got a neighbor that's probably close. It doesn't bother me, I don't care.
Right.
But, I mean, somebody might.
Your intent is that you can't obtain a license for them. They're not licensable.
Right.
Like a golf cart?
Right, like a golf cart.
Doesn't have enough letters for a VIN, or the VIN doesn't have enough for a
But I mean, you
license.
can-
Is that,
if
so
you
it should
got-
be unlicensable rather than unlicensed vehicle?
Right, yeah, I mean, you can put them in your garage, if you got, you know, I got permanent parking on my second garage, that's on the south side, and in between my garages, I got cement that's been permanent parking all along, and my intention is to let people still use those. It's just not parking 5, 6 in the grass and leaving them sit there exactly 10 foot from the property line, and, you know.
Because the point I'm making is, because we, in our ordinances, we do have where you cannot keep, am I right?
A motor vehicle.
Unlicensed motor vehicle.
But I
But
think
this is not what you were talking,
non-licensable.
I mean, that's where I wanted
What
clarification.
I'm talking about with the one that's allowed is if you're working on it or whatever, you know, restoring it or something. This is not, no, you're not gonna have 6 or 7 of them unlicensed out there. They wouldn't allow it, this one. I don't know, I just wanted to, you know, we've had people here 2 meetings ago that wanna park, you know, the Daytona 500 in their yard. And we had people last meeting that, you know, you better have a garage, put everything in, I don't wanna see nothing. So, you know, let's go to the middle, see where we're at. You know, if everybody's mad, I think it's good.
No, I commend you for coming up with this. I mean, I told Lonnie, I said, I don't know what we need Fink for, he's doing all the work here, so.
Well, then I think, Mike, you were gonna bring something up in the regular ordinance for parking on the parallel versus perpendicular.
So I think that's part of the whole dynamic here is what happens then with the people that have cars that they're gonna move out onto the street. And one thing you could is you could change the parking ordinance to require all parking in the city to be parallel to the curb, except in those cases where you might identify streets where diagonal parking is allowed.
You know, Main Street and.
You could, right?
And actually, if you're looking at,
Community center.
right, but on the other side, you want parallel, so you want, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The west side would be parallel, the east side would be perpendicular, so the community center side would be.
And maybe the simple way to do it is to just, if you chose to go that route, you could just pass a regular ordinance, not zoning, but it would say that all parking has to be parallel except for those streets identified by the council by resolution. So you could change your mind from time to time.
But I think that's important to have the difference between perpendicular and parallel.
Scott had a question.
So where it says commercial vehicle parking, commercial motor vehicles, commercial vehicles, anything over 10,000 pounds. So I've seen a few box trucks in the town, and I think they use those for work. Is that gonna be considered a vehicle that's able to park there?
They're delivery guys that,
Right.
In my opinion,
Go out.
the way that's written, the way I'm thinking, no.
Okay.
I mean,
Because it's at no time, there's not a time
Right,
limit,
well,
it's at no
right.
time.
unless you're moving or unloading or whatever.
Right,
I
right,
mean,
right.
But I mean, if that's their person.
You gotta find a place to park.
Okay.
I mean, there's, not everybody's gonna like it, but
Yeah,
do you wanna look at a 20-foot box truck sitting in,
right.
Better than some other options.
better than a rendering truck, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, where do you draw the line then all of a sudden?
Right, that's why I was just wondering. What are we gonna-
You gotta have a line to draw. If you don't like
Right.
the 1 ton, make it higher. Or if you don't like it it's too high, make it lower. I don't own anything above 150, so I don't care.
But if it's a great big lot and they have a space in the backyard, they could come and request a
Right.
variance or.
Yes, they could.
And maybe
So-
specific circumstances with
So, to understand this completely, this area of it is something you can just go ahead and do. And if you need more than that, you can come and get a conditional use permit.
Yes.
To clarify that.
Yes.
Would anybody have any objection to, instead of 12 hours, make it 24? So if you have a snow event and you're not home that day, you don't get home that day. 24, 48, whatever.
One
It
day.
don't matter to me. I just picked it out of the air.
Every 24 hours it renews, so.
There's as much science behind that as there is COVID, so.
Yeah, the next day.
Oh, you gotta, yeah.
Well,
Oh,
is it a 3-day snow event? I don't think he's gonna be out there counting.
I don't think.
No, no.
He's probably,
And, quite honestly, 12 hours for construction is probably not enough either.
On the snowy-
But I assume that, we still do live in Freeman and, if you see there's construction going on, I assume that our chief of police would say, they are actually doing construction and it's not a problem. It's gonna be away when they're done,
You make it too wide, it can
Wow.
be abused.
if I leave a skid loader out in front of a garage.
I don't care if you change it
house
to
I'm working
24.
in,
That does not bother me
That
one
is
bit.
construction.
24 is fine. I like what he has.
is 2 cars and 2 trailers too much for some backyards, or?
Some it probably is.
For some it is, but you can't,
You can't.
Can't go outside your boundary line,
Yeah.
right?
if you have, the reason I have,
Go by
the reason there
lot
is 2 trailers and 2 cars is, okay, I got an F-350 that I pull a 48-foot or 40-foot fifth wheel camper with, that I also pull my lawn boat behind. All right, I've already knocked my 2 trailers out, even though they're major, it's major recreational equipment. But I only use that pickup for pulling the trailer. So I don't want it, taking the other stuff up where I can park, I put it back there. Well, you're down to 3. Now you got room for one more thing. That's it. That's why I picked 4.
What about your taking leaves to the dump trailer?
Now you're at 4.
The problem you get in is a 60 by 100 lots, 60 by 100 foot lots, and there's a lot of them. And that's where we've been
But,
having problems.
usually people that have those type of lots don't have a boat and a fifth wheel and a 1-ton. They may.
But I don't know what you're gonna get.
Anybody else have thoughts?
I'm okay with the 24 hours. I definitely see your point if something.
Yeah, because
You know.
we're not always exact on the
And I would hope
calling it
that
either.
would be some discretionary involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't
But if
think
it's in writing,
a 5-week or a week snow period is.
You cannot make this any stricter than it reads. You can
make it looser.
lose it.
Yeah.
He cannot enforce any more than this. He can enforce less. Hopefully with,
Yeah.
he uses discretion.
There you go. Well, thank you, Lonnie. No, it's put a lot
Yeah.
of work to this. Thank you.
Any other questions? Otherwise, we'll let, with the addition of the amendment 24 instead of 12, we'll let it stand as
And
a,
unlicensable?
Right, yeah,
Non-licensed.
right.
Not licensed.
Under rear yard parking, yeah.
licensable. That is I checked, it is a
Right,
word.
right, but is it,
You
No,
can
I
say
look-
non or un, whichever, non sounds more professional than un.
okay, I just want to say it though, yeah, I know it's a word,
Okay, so
but I want it included.
what about farm equipment?
Thank you.
Farm equipment in R1 and R2 is
So
pretty,
is there,
well, it's one of
first
the,
that's first reading, got it.
it's one of the 4. Non-licensed motor vehicle.
Look at your zoning map.
The transit?
Well, you
Well,
can go by that.
Jonah, I lost my
Where you going?
agenda.
Here,
Thank you.
it's transit.
I know.
Okay, sorry.
So, no, I have to go. I just let it go because parking on.
All right, that will be the first reading.
Well, does anybody here have anything to say?
I wanted to address the parking issue. My name is Jim Singletary. I moved here in September, and I live at 701 South Walnut. It's a corner lot. I've got a 2018 fifth wheel parked in the back at the owner's permission within the boundary lines, and I think according to this revision, it fits the legal descriptions without having to have gravel or a pad. And I'm hoping that's true, because the backyard is exposed, and anyone driving either side is going to see it, and putting gravel down or a pad does not camouflage it. And that's my issue with the parking. Now, then, I can't speak for the owner because I'm a renter, but everything that has been agreed with the owner, inside use of the house and outside parking is well known to him, and everything was established before I moved in. I moved to Freeman because of in-laws that live here, and I'm retired. I worked some for Freeman Academy, but I like the community, and I really took exception to one of the citizens in this community. I don't know her personally, I know of her, but her statement about newcomers and what was quoted, perhaps 15 years ago, this ordinance wouldn't have needed the discussion because people took pride in their homes, yards, and they respected the neighbor's property. She said the words pride and respect don't exist anymore. We now have a different clientele of people in our town. They don't care. They're running our town to the ground. Now, if anyone accepted that statement without objecting or saying we do not agree, I hope the lady was speaking out of maybe an anxious moment, anger. I think if she reflected on it, this would not be the statement that she would be making. But if that's the opinion of new people coming into town, this town is not a progressive town, it's going to be a restrictive town. It's one of the cleanest towns that I've ever lived in. And listening to the discussion of you gentlemen tonight, I think you are at least looking at the issues fairly. And I would hope that the whole town would be offended by such a statement. The idea of raccoons, skunks running through the town, I don't care if it was 15 years, 30 years, 50 years ago, you're in a farm community, and no matter how much you clean up, you're going to have those critters running through your town. I think you need to at least put a statement or say something that addresses that kind of a statement point blank. I think it's a bad representation of the city, if that's the feeling of the citizenry. I've driven every street in this town, and I've walked most of them in the past 8 or 9 months. And I can tell you it's a clean town. There are some areas that needed to be cleaned up, and most of them do not deal with the parking. Abandoned vehicles, broken down vehicles, ones that maybe the people have been sick, or you never know the reason why those vehicles may be there. But you should ask before you make a statement that includes everyone. And I would just like for the city to be aware that I think it's a great community. But some of the citizenry, they need to review their statements and what they hope to see in the people that are moving into the town. When I rented the house, I told my landlord I would treat it like my own home. I sold my home. I bought a fifth wheel for my wife and I to travel, and we lived full-time for 3 years going across this country. I've been to almost every state, not just this year, not just in the fifth wheel, but in traveling and in business. And you'll see every situation, every town has some of the same problems. And as a side note, I've been where you've been. I've been on the council, I've been a mayor, and you cannot accept that kind of publicity if you want your town to be appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your opinion.
And your fifth wheel in this particular ordinance, if it passes a second reading, will not be effective.
Yeah, I took that from this, and I appreciate that revision, but I was upset with the.
It's understandable, and I never said nothing, because quite frankly, you hear it from certain individuals all the time, and it's the same people. And I'm so used to it, I just let it water run off my back, and you're right, you're absolutely right. It's not right to say that. I thought that the minute it was brought up, I was thinking,
And I think it was, that the.
Little anger in there.
Personally affecting her, and it, with the situation of parking, neighbors, whatever it would be, but she just was getting angry, and I'm pretty sure she didn't, I can't speak for her, but I totally get what you're saying, and thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Yes, thank you, Jim. I appreciate that, and I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I really do.
Anybody else on nobody else? Freeman Community Transit donation request, is this the same thing we did last year?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
10,000, was it?
Yeah, same amount.
And they're not here to speak to it, but I'm Freeman's representative to
Are
their
we
board of
interested in doing this
directors.
again?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, to be real honest with you, when Beta first moved to town, I don't know how many years ago that is now. Quite a while. That wasn't called Beta then, though.
No,
Rocks.
Rocks.
It was a different organization.
I really thought, this is a joke. It's gonna make 1 year and this is gonna be done. And It has absolutely worked out wonderful for people, and I think it's, for the senior citizens, it's no different than giving money to a ball field for the kids, in my opinion, so.
It's been very helpful.
Yeah, there have been a lot of people that use it and need to, it's a need.
I would like to see a garage get built for them.
That's.
I make a motion that we apply that into the budget for 20.
We have a motion, is there a
I
second?
mean,
I'll second that.
Charlie Waltner made the motion, Charlie Gehring,
Yep.
call roll, please.
Jaden,
Yes.
Euchre,
Yes.
Waltner,
Yes.
Gehring,
Yes.
Jacobson.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. Ready?
Shut your meter off.
Bye, everyone. See you, Mike.
Bye, Mike.
Thank you.
I'll put together a version of that ordinance that has the number on top and the place to sign and everything.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, there's two things on there. The summer rec financial request, I'm sure they're asking for what we've done prior. And that's always been $3,500.
I believe that's correct.
I
Yes.
really thought we'd have representation here tonight, but there's none. Am I correct in that number?
Yes, it is.
$3,500, and I'm gonna presume they're
Yeah.
asking, unless Carol, you heard something other than that.
I
I'm
haven't
sure
heard
that's what
that.
they're asking for again.
Right, yep.
Having said that, Dustin Cheddar approached me, the Teener program, which they are asking, we talked about it last meeting. They're having the state Teener tournament here this year. And this is in addition to this $3,500 summer rec program. And I saw him at a game, and I said, well, just tell me how much. And finally, he says, there's 3 towns involved with the sticks, I guess they're called. And Terry, you maybe know more about this than I do, but there's Marion, Canastota, Freeman. The other 2 towns threw in $1,000. Is basically what he told me. So, it's gonna cost him about $5,000. So he would like $1,000 for the Teener program that he's trying to get up and running here this year. So what we're looking at here, there's 2 different things. I don't want you guys to get confused at the summer rec. It'd be $3,500 for the summer rec program, and this would be a one-time $1,000 step in to the Teener program, because they're gonna have the state baseball,
So it's to help
Teener baseball thing,
help them
yeah,
get that up
defray
and going.
cross. And I'm sure there's gate and so forth that they would use to defray the rest, or private, but that's kind of what Canastota kicked in, Marion kicked in, and then they're coming to us. So I'll be looking at 2 different motions, one for the summer rec and one for the Teener.
I'll make
Now,
one for
the
this.
Teener is this year, right?
Yes.
Summer rec would
is
be for 2022.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because
Did we do that in fall?
We budgeted for this year already,
Right.
and have they taken it yet? I don't.
I don't know.
Last year, Lonnie, it came to the council on June 22nd, and we paid it August 10th.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we didn't
So
budget
we-
it then.
Correct.
Yeah,
It's in there.
it's in the budget for this year,
Yeah.
paid out this year.
Yeah,
So I'll follow up with that. I'll make that motion for the summer rec.
okay.
I'll second that.
Yeah, 3,500.
Call roll.
Euchre,
Yes.
Waltner,
Yes.
Gehring,
Yes.
Jacobson.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Jaden.
Yes.
Then if we're interested in the Teener baseball program donation,
I make a motion to donate $1,000 to the Sticks baseball team for a Teener team.
Second that, Carol.
Waltner,
Yes.
Gehring, Jacobson.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Jaden,
Yes.
Euchre.
Yes.
water restrictions.
Okay, we've been going over our contract amount in this hot weather. It's kind of done this, one day we're way over, and then day we're under, and then we're way over. And you can, BY will give it to, knows instantly, and of course we don't. We're gonna, Mike and I and Dewey are gonna try to figure out how we can know instantly in the future, but right, Freeman daily totals is 5/30/21 was 139. The heat hit in 6/5/21 is 311. So, I'm thinking that we need to put some kind of restriction on to hold it back. That BY, let me be clear, BY is not restricting us, all right,
Yet.
So, it's up to you guys. What you want to do, I'm thinking no watering from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Or do you want to go every other day?
Well, I think we should do the 10, because during the day is not a time to water because it evaporates. So I think that we should do
If we go
regardless.
10 to 8 and it doesn't work, then I was thinking that, then every other day, 6th and 5th, divide the town and see what happens. Well, I don't know, what do you guys think?
I kind of think we should do both right away, but
Well,
that's my opinion.
I'm only one guy, so if you want to do, we need some restrictions, so, for now.
Well, we can start with the
time.
time first, that's fine, but I think we're gonna end up going, because I'm not sure that the,
Well, this is end of June, so we're headed into July and August, July being the hottest month in August. So the sooner we get on top of the ball, the better we are.
Well, if you want to go 10 to 8 and then go every other day,
I need,
I was thinking, or do you want to just go every other day and let them have the whole day?
no, I don't want the whole day, because that's the worst time. People don't respect that, and that's the
And,
worst time of water.
I don't know, 6th and 5th is an easy line to delineate, but south of 6th and 5th is a lot more people than Charlie and I's north. So I don't know, but it's the easiest way to cut it off and be able to see who's supposed to be doing what, I guess.
Well, odd or even would be, anything on the west street would be one day.
Or do you use DeWalt Street?
Oh, cut it in half.
Cut it in half of DeWalt. Keep doing east and
I
west.
think a lot of towns do the odd and even, that your number is an odd number, you do it on the odd days. If your house number is an even number, you water on the even days.
So the odd numbers get one extra day.
A 3, oh, yeah, well.
I got an odd number.
I got it.
My question is, these guys that sprinkle on the outside, yeah, we can say he did it. What about those underground sprinklers, underground waters?
They have a timer that you just set to
How
go.
are we going to check on those, or
When you drive by and they're on after 10 a.m., then you
Yeah.
call them?
underground, you don't see?
Oh, no,
They pop up
Yeah,
above and
yeah, they pop
spray.
up, yeah.
You're talking, they're
Yeah,
not
yeah, they're
underground.
not a here.
There's a few soaker hoses, but I don't think those are the issue.
No, for example, I'll use my place as an example. I water Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I start at 4 o'clock in the morning, but I have 10 zones.
I won't tell you what that is.
Trust me, I pay for my water.
But I'm going to say a couple of things. One is I'm going to really strongly urge the 10 to 8 p.m. First of all, it's very easily policed, because as soon as you go odd even, we got police, we got to involve our policemen and so forth. We're not bad. Lonnie's got the numbers there. We're not bad, but we really need to monitor, because hey, we're selling water, we're making money. I mean, that thing, but we don't want to go over that 280, because we're going to get nailed. They're going to come back to us and say, hey, you guys, you're going to have to up your minimum payment, and that's what we don't want.
Well, if they get notice, just in the paper or whatever, that water restrictions may apply later if you don't watch it, they're probably
That's
gonna be
fine.
more, they're probably gonna be more careful on when and how much.
What, 2 weeks till the next meeting?
Mhm.
A lot can change in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I agree with the 10 to 8, because anybody who knows anything about watering their lawn, if you water too much before it has time for the grass to dry on the top, it'll create a fungus in your grass, which will kill your grass eventually. So people are gonna, if you're watering in the evenings when it's dark out, you're not gonna water nearly as much anyway, because that's way too much water to saturate, which will start killing your grass. You'll get mushrooms and everything else going up in your yard. So I think the 10 to 8 is a good starting point. Then look at it in 2 weeks, and then if we have to start going every other day, then go that way.
What about gardens? You can't eat your lawn, we can utilize our garden.
Do you water it from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.?
No, but if you go every other day and every.
Well, yeah, we're not talking about
We
that
haven't
yet.
gone there
We're
yet.
trying to stop from going there.
Yeah, we just,
Because I got 2 gardens I have to water, and I don't I water, actually, I start at 8 o'clock before we even thought this, and then I get up in the middle, because I don't have a timer. Other than my alarm clock.
He's north of the
Yeah,
tracks.
I like to go out like 7 or 7:30, so that I'm not watering it, that I'm done before the jiggers are eating me alive out there.
You should
Because
do it by hand.
I go by hand and
Oh,
just
sure.
fill my cans where my plants are. I'm not spraying it everywhere, is what I'm saying.
Well, what do you think we drop it down to 7:30? 10 to 7:30?
What does the ordinance say?
Huh?
Does it say lawn? What does the ordinance say does it say lawn watering?
Don't think,
Is it
We don't have
specific?
we don't,
No.
don't think we have a.
So we just, we don't have one, we were just talking.
if it said lawns, then it would.
Well, are we talking
Yeah,
about lawns or are we,
then do I
I know.
do I skip
Are we-
by then?
Well, that's what they're,
are
that's what
we
they're
including
insinuating.
gardens with
What
lawns?
were you thinking?
Well,
I personally, to be honest, with you, I was thinking everything.
I think everything.
So, I mean,
Just do 10 to 7.
okay, 10 to, I don't care, you guys say it.
Just 10 to 7.
If 10 to 7 works, 7 o'clock you can go out and water, that's fine. I mean, it's starting to cool down a little bit then, and,
Yeah.
the thing is, you're gonna use this, gardens, we use our water and we need it
It's
all the time. Of course, you do with the lawn too, but
10 to 7. I think the hospital is a big concern. And that's,
Yeah.
from 10 to 7 is a high. They're using a lot of water
In the
also.
hospital itself.
Yes.
Yeah, we use hospital, we use water all the time, but when we water at the villages, that's.
I'm not talking, I'm talking about in,
The
Yeah.
facility.
Facility.
The other thing that kind of bothers me, I go past the village there or whatever, and it's just rain, cats and dogs, and there the sprinklers coming on. Somehow, can we think about, I don't want to make a law or anything, but a guy would think there should be a sensor that should say, hey, we got plenty of moisture today, we don't need to water.
It's called Charlie Walton.
There is.
you want to go 7?
yeah. I make a motion, we go to water restrictions starting as soon as we can get it out to the public, from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay. Second.
Second.
Call roll.
Gehring,
yes.
Jacobson,
Yes.
Sorry,
Yes.
Jaden,
Yes.
Euchre.
Yes.
Waltner.
Yes.
I should get enough of a handle on it for now.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll broach the subject again.
Sure we will.
Having spoke to Lonnie on this and so forth, he's got numbers there. BY sent us, that came from BY. And last week, because, you pretty well know what the temperature, you knew the handwriting was on the wall, what was coming. And I think it was Friday, it must have been Friday, I received this from BY. Lisa Jensen gave it to me, and I said, where'd you get this from? Well, BY sent it to me. So, obviously, BY knows how much we're using every day. And I don't think they have sent somebody up to go down the pit to check to see what our meter's reading. And that's the only way we can check it. I think it would be very advantageous somehow that we know, somehow, we need to contact BY and say, hey, we want what you got, so we don't have to send Dewey down in the pit every day. Surely, and maybe Terry, you know more about how that would work?
But wouldn't the new meter system
No,
be,
I was gonna-
we can't set up some way to alert us?
Well, it's this two-pronged attack. One is because of the water usage right now. When we have the new metering system in, will tell us what we're selling, but also what we're buying. You understand?
Yeah.
There might be a gap there.
Oh, I'm sure there will.
So it may be advantageous to find if there's a discrepancy there to what we're using a day or selling a day to what we're actually buying.
Right, yeah, because we do have loss. I think last year was close to 5%.
5% loss.
Well, we were billed 5% for 5% of water we did not use.
Yeah.
But it went somewhere.
So,
It went somewhere.
And that's where the new meter system or the reading system should come to play that we're
Should
supposed to be.
help, but like Mike says, you gotta marry it in. I mean, all the meter system's gonna tell us is how much that house used. So we can add up all the houses, that's not gonna track any loss.
But because all of our water goes through and up to the water tower first, right, and then back
Yeah,
down.
right now Dewey can walk down there and read the meter. He's gotta go down in the pit and read it.
That's, yeah, he's gotta go down the pit to, that's where the meter is.
What are we paying, what are we
Buy one of
paying
those
for
remote
usage?
cameras to put on.
Where what?
What are we supposed to be at for the, what's the?
280 is what we're allowed.
280?
Yeah, that's what we're allowed.
There was a few days we went well over.
So, yeah, that's, and that comparatively, that's really high. I mean, it's been an unusual year.
Yeah, it has been.
But my fear, my fear is they're gonna come back. And, you know, we pay $3,000 a month base rate, and then what we use, we pay a rate. And they're gonna say, you know, guys, you know, you're over. So if we can monitor that, we could hold off on keeping that base rate, that up, yeah. So.
Gotta
Well, I
do
don't-
county property, buddy.
Is there a wire, Terry? I mean, I don't know. How do they have that down there?
I was just wondering if the new meter system, you know, once it gets set up.
I would think
if
it should
knows how
total,
much
I
it's
think it should
cut-
total all the meters together for you, so it'd be running, a running
Right.
grand total.
I know, but like it says, we're losing
Right.
some, so you wanna know before you hit that point of selling.
But we'll eventually get a point to know how much water we're actually using and what we're, over time, with what we're actually
Well,
paying.
I mean, we contact BY and see if they have something that we could use.
Yeah, they should be able to,
Log in on one of their sites and check it, you know. what-
or just send us an update every,
No, I don't wanna go through that. No, I wanna know. We'll do our own thing.
What's that?
I don't-
From the meter.
I was hoping Dewey'd be here tonight, and he'd have some more, and he's not here, so. But
Well,
It
that
won't.
meter is.
he can,
send the little Jacobson boy down there.
That meter is read.
Last year was
electronically
5%
By
loss.
BY.
Yeah,
So there's gotta be some way
yeah, but you're gonna get into
to be
this.
notified, that you can be on the notification system.
That's what I'm.
well, if they've got daily readings,
Yeah,
They
it's
should just
obvious,
send-
I mean,
They should just send them to us.
that would, yeah. I mean, we could set the notification up at 2:08, so when it's at 2:70, we know we're getting dangerously close, that we get a notification, right?
yeah.
Now I gotta actually send a notice out to people to quit watering.
Well, at 5% on the high rate there, we're losing 16,000 gallons of water a day.
That could be people, yeah.
Oh,
So, anyway,
It's, at the end of the year, we'll know.
yep.
we accomplished what we wanted as far as, I just wanted to
Yep.
tell you. She keeps saying- Tree City USA. Charlie?
Well, we haven't been Tree City for a couple of years. Last year was COVID, I didn't even mess with it. This year, I wasn't too excited about it. We can apply for the same grants without being Tree City.
We lose points.
We lose
but-
points, but just I'm gonna probably honor them. We can apply again, that's not a big, it's just a matter of filling out.
We've budgeted for it.
It's budgeted.
My point is this, it wasn't a big deal to me either, but it's been brought to my attention that the ash borer is not if,
It's when.
it's when.
All right.
If that happens, we're gonna look pretty naked out there south of town. And so they have a tree plan and so forth,
Right, at the golf course. Yep.
and trying to get ahead of the game. So before
Yeah.
those ash trees, hundreds of ash trees get all wiped out, that there's something there. So if we budgeted that, if there's if we need to get into this Tree City,
The advantage on grants for replanting trees is very minimal. You can apply for a $5,000 grant. The only amount you're ever gonna get for just replacement trees is only $1,000. That's the maximum you're gonna get.
Replacement?
For just replacing trees. It's designed more for pruning trees, education. As far as buying trees, you cannot apply for the grant for $5,000 and a matching grant for $5,000 worth of trees. most you're ever gonna apply for is $1,000.
But even now.
Yeah, and we can apply for those same grants without being Tree City.
And did I hear pruning?
Pruning can be part of it.
Define pruning.
Trimming branches in, like we did that in the park where they're.
Not cutting dead ash trees
Not
down.
deading ash trees, no, that does not qualify.
That's a
Oh, they were
pretty good.
If you want to, that would not qualify.
What's that?
Turner County's quarantined, so
Yeah.
we're only.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
no,
know.
it's coming. I took my ash trees out already because I'm planning ahead and I want to plant trees to replace them before I'm real old.
Well, I know Cody applied for, I mean, you know, as far as injecting and so forth, but that's just gonna be,
That's just a Band-Aid at the best.
it's every year or every other year and so forth. And so I just wanna make sure if there's something there that we,
Tree City is still existing, we're still meeting as a board and doing stuff. It's not Tree City, but it's our same committee that we've been the whole time. We actually worked 2 Saturdays ago in the park. And we were actually discussing options of what we're doing and working with the golf course too, to see what kind of program we can do with trees.
okay, is there, I mean, that's gonna be,
They do caution against using the Tree City name on anything
Yeah.
if we're not
We just-
official.
we just
So it has to
call
be
it
Tree Board.
Tree board is whatever, we can.
I just wanna
But-
make
You
sure
gotta
the
take the
money's,
signs down on 81.
But it's a 20, out of the 70-point grant, 20 points go, and you're not go toward
Right.
your grant. So it's a significant part of the
A
application.
lot of it is how you write it.
but if it's not for new trees.
Only a small part of grants can be applied. So if you have a $5,000 grant, and typically they're all 5,000, you
Well, if they-
can apply up to $1,000 for new trees.
Well, I'm sure Cody's touched you, so
Yeah,
I just
no.
wanna make sure that we've done everything we
Yeah.
can, so
Yeah.
if there's
No,
money
we'll-
there, we can
we'll
grab
keep
hold of
moving
it.
forward.
4th of July,
pool
I'm sorry,
hours.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know much about this, and I did text Taylor, and she texted back, and she said, over the 3 years past, they closed on the 4th of July. Last year, they had it open, and it wasn't very busy, she said. She was just wondering what the plan was for this year. And I think the council felt we should have it open because
It's 4th of July.
4th of July, people aren't necessarily leaving town. If they aren't busy, they aren't busy.
It's gonna be different this year, because the 4th of July celebration is the weekend before.
Right.
Yeah, but we still, I mean, there's
4th of
still
July
gonna be
Sunday.
kids that wanna go swimming on
Right.
4th of July.
So I
So the
think
attendance might be better.
it may be.
Well, last year was COVID too. How many actually went swimming?
Yeah, so I think we'll just continue like we always have, and I wasn't anticipating closing the pool at all. I just
Okay.
didn't realize, I first saw it on the agenda last night. I wasn't aware of this, and that's why I texted Taylor before the meeting.
So we're gonna keep it as is.
We're gonna keep it as is.
All right, I know I'm missing something, but that will go down. Development and marketing report, you've got it in front of you.
Do you have any questions?
You yawning because you wanna go home, or you're just bored?
Who, me?
Yeah. Charlie Waltner?
Yeah.
Nothing at this point, actually.
I do, sorry. Had a couple things brought to my attention, and Carol, you emailed me last week, and I apologize, I was a little under the weather, so I didn't get back to you on some things, but the TV pricing out at the landfill, it's been $20, and I guess it's been brought to my attention that maybe we've been charging less for smaller items. Is that the way it's supposed to be?
No, I can bring you up on probably that.
It's
We had
supposed to be-
$20 for the TVs. But what's happened, and I didn't realize this, the flat screens, we're getting charged for flat screens now too.
Okay, so it should be $20 straight across the
No,
board?
well, I talked to Jim, I don't think we should do $20, and I was gonna talk to you before that.
Okay.
Because I
Well,
think
just-
what
we
we
just
need
need
to
to know
do,
so we can get it
we need
updated.
to look at sizes, because people bringing in little 19, 28-inch monitors
Mhm.
should be one price, but someone bringing in a 75-inch, it's still all sold by the pound.
Okay.
So I think we just need to kind of
Come
come
up
up
with
with a couple different sizes for the
Okay.
various sizes, and then they can charge
So,
it for it.
yeah, I think we'll come up with 3 sizes then.
Yeah, and then as
Carol,
far-
I'll get it to you so you can get it posted.
And then as
correctly.
far as the big TVs, like the old tube
Council
type,
type.
will still stay $20, because those cost us a lot more to get rid of than the flat screen.
Okay. Okay, so,
I talked with Jim a little bit on that, and I just talked to him Saturday, but I never got in touch with you on that.
no problem.
The tricky part was that at a previous council meeting, it was just decided 20 across the board, so
That
that's
was
what we
for the flat
advertised.
screens, or not for the flat screen, that was for the tube type.
The count, though.
We weren't aware, I wasn't aware that the
Flat
flat
screens were
screens
still free at that
were
time.
free, but they aren't anymore. That's the
Right,
problem.
right, they're not, so we
But
understood.
we were-
with
Charge
the
for
vote.
it, just a
Right.
lower.
Right.
Sure, no problem.
Right.
We'll get together and figure it out.
Yeah, we can deal
Yeah,
with
it,
that.
thank
Great.
you.
Trex drop off, they've been the bags, plastic bags, they've been collecting them. We will have to figure out a way to get them, and I believe it's to, I think Sam took them to Hy-Vee, I believe.
Yankton.
You know, obviously we don't want, the guys at the recycling taking them up there or anything, so we'll have to figure out a way to get them up there.
Jim's doing a little more look on that too, I talked to him Saturday.
Okay. Great. I like it when you do the job. It's fine. No problem. So we'll get that figured out, Carol. We'll figure that out, because the reason if we send, let's say Jim up there, if we're sending him on city business, and then we're liable as he drives there and is there, so.
Right, I was just told to set up the account, and
Yep.
so
No,
I don't know any of the
great.
other
And
logistics.
It's going well. It's going very well. We'll
Right.
just figure out how to get them there. Right now, we have some room that we're able to keep them, and, maybe we can get them all at one time and take a.
How much room does that take to, is it a pickup load, is it a truck?
It's
load? What is it?
Yeah.
How much weight did they have to have?
Is it 500
500.
I think it's
pounds?
I think they can
500.
only take 70 pounds in at a time.
It's 500 pounds of them.
I think they can
thin
only
little
take 70.
Plastic bags.
70 pounds in at a time.
Right, yeah.
I think they were figuring, I asked them about it, they could make a bale, and our small baler would make the right size bale to where they would actually take these, but they have, Jim's gonna see if he
I
can find out that information. But I think they figured a bale like that's probably around 600 pounds
Okay.
if they baled it in our baler. But that'd be compressing it quite a bit to what they're
But
doing right
do
now.
they want that much at one time?
Well, that's what we're looking at, what options, if there's places that might pick it up
Pick it
or
up.
wate So he's doing
Right.
some of that
Okay,
research.
great,
So at
great.
this
Well-
point, I kind of told him to keep looking.
Thank you.
But I was gonna get to that.
No, thank you. I think this is handled. We had the water aerobics discussion last meeting. I did stop over there and take a look at how they did it, and it's very nice class,
Well,
actually. But
I
I think
didn't go into that, but yeah, forgot.
it's okay. It's okay. I think it got resolved.
It's resolved.
Everything's resolved. But I just wanted to say, it did look like a very neat class that they were doing there. And there was quite a bit of attendance there. They asked me if I wanted
Yeah,
to join,
you
but
can.
at that time I did not, so. I know. Right. That's, okay. Dewey's not here, but I just wanted to mention, I noticed they moved that culvert on 3rd Street there. They did a wonderful job. My untrained eye looks very good, and it was just very nice to see that our guys were able to do that with our equipment, so I just wanted to compliment on that. They did a good job. They got the end of Main Street on the north side filled again, so I was gonna tell them thank you for that. 6th Street, someone actually brought this to my attention, and I did look at it. Is it possible, and maybe we do this at certain times, that we sweep it and repaint the lineage on it? The center line is really faded, or how do we go about?
Usually right in the fall before school starts, because they can put the crosswalks in.
Okay, because that would make.
And winter takes the steps.
Sure,
so.
sure. That would make the entrance into Freeman look a lot nicer with a nice clean street.
We've had the county do the strike, the center.
The county ain't gonna do the straight.
Well, we used to in the past,
The county ain't even doing their own.
yeah.
So is that something we do,
We'll have
or we have
find
to
out.
hire it
We'll
done?
fire it out, yeah, I don't know if
Okay.
we wanna have somebody go out there with a little sprayer.
There are some companies we can contact.
Awesome, okay, we'll get together, Charlie, thank you. Anybody on community service or
Bumblebee
something,
striking.
maybe they got a paintbrush.
Bumblebee striking.
Yeah. And just wanted to bring this up now, because in the future, I think we're gonna probably have to be looking at replacing the police Impala. It's been more than nickeling and diming here, and it's.
We're back to that again.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be times probably sooner rather than later. I just want to bring it to your attention that we might want to.
That reminds me though,
Bring that up.
we did put to the budget for a new pickup for Dewey. We probably should start looking at that to get his pickup replaced.
Yeah, there's probably nothing available. That's the problem.
Yeah, they canceled, Dodge canceled all the state bids.
Yep, yeah, there's just nothing
Same
available
thing
right
with
now.
You gotta go to 2022 if you want something, and then you might not get
And
it.
you might not even get that, yeah.
So we better get on the list if we wanna get a police car or something.
So would it be possible, I mean, to get maybe a bundle package? Maybe get it cheaper with 2 vehicles?
Well, we go off state bid,
Okay.
so you pay what the state
Yeah,
got
they'll-
bid for.
Okay.
And right now, it's a moot point, there's nothing out there, Scott. There's just nothing out there.
Are we getting another sedan, thinking of a sedan or?
What I would recommend is passing his pickup down and get a new 4-wheel drive. So there's two 4-wheel drives, you know, that's
Doesn't have to be a pickup, it's something with.
all-wheel drive. There you go. Yeah, all-wheel drive. Yeah. I mean, that's what I would that's what I would
44 miles a gallon in town?
Right. You know, just something to, you know, that we can maybe put the chief into the newer vehicle and pass this one down so we have 2 capable and reliable vehicles. So, and that's all I have.
Okay, Dewey's not here, I was gonna ask him, but you know, Mennel had a pipe, or PY had a pipe break, right? And Mennel was told that they could not use water. And they could tonight, it didn't last as long as they thought. Well, they tried to start up their wells, and they got nothing but sludge, so I was gonna ask Dewey if
How often
we would
is
be a
this?
little bit better off than they were. It's supposed to be done, if I remember right, they're supposed to do it every quarter, but I don't know if it gets done or not.
But do we wanna even pump that water into our system?
If you're out of water, you wanna make sure it works, don't you?
You
Yeah,
want,
but I mean-
if you have a fire, you're
Yeah,
not gonna
but
care.
can we
I
pump-
know what you're saying, but
They had no idea how long they were gonna be out of
Yeah.
water. They couldn't even take showers. They were under orders not to take showers. But you wanna go a week with that without using the well water? You're gonna have to, it's gotta work.
What you're saying is, A, you want it to work, and B, you want it to run clean water.
Yes.
And the only way it's gonna do either of those things is if you exercise it regularly.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
or cap them. Either use them because they're just,
I don't
if
think
you're
we can
not
cap 'em.
using
I think
that, those wells are gonna.
I think the BY contract has it in there that you have to have your wells operational. Our original contract. I think it's in there
Yeah,
that
there-
you gotta have your wells operational.
If there's a way to run them and not go through the tower, I mean, that obviously, you know, would be the,
No.
to check them and clean them out. to do
But
it.
that's, I just was gonna ask him.
Yeah. it's-
Okay, and then,
Very good.
on the land, the western new development there, you know, I think we should probably, in my opinion, look at tearing down that shed and tearing down Dolores Kleinsasser's house, which has been on the docket for a long time now. And take that area, clean it up. I mean, you're not gonna wanna spend $60,000 for a lot and build a $600,000 house and look at a 1950 tin shed that's flooding out every other time it rains hard. You know, a 4-foot chain link fence and a sign that says dog park would be fine. This is my opinion, what I was thinking, that people could take their dogs, let them play there. It's cleaned up, it's just a fence, we're not putting any money in, it's just gone. The only money we have to do is find another place to put our salt under roof.
That's basically what's in there, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's basically.
and there's a whole bunch,
it's-
there's a whole bunch
I
of
bet.
stuff in there that we probably use 10% of.
But the tin shed needs to go down.
Right.
Before you start selling lots, because you don't.
That's what I'm thinking, and
Yeah.
just to use it for a
The house.
dog park or whatever.
The house, I think you'd get by with, but the tin shed and the rubble pile, that really.
If we're there
needs to
tearing
go.
it down, let's take the house down.
Yeah, well, I'm not arguing that.
The only reason we left it up was for the firemen to
To train.
train.
Did they train? Did they ever use it? I don't know.
I think they have, but
They were gonna use the Reese house, but that's the one they were trying.
That was a different story.
They just use it as a smokehouse. I
Right.
think.
it's a smokehouse.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And one other thing is, you know, we're doing Main Street and we're spending, you know, roughly $3 million on it. Have you guys drove a block off Main Street on these roads?
They're terrible.
You know, we're spending $3 million. shouldn't we really just go block out? We're already doing Railway, we're already doing Third, on the west side. You go to Fourth on the west side, and there's places there that if you met traffic, one of you is gonna be in gravel.
It's 4 blocks.
Yes, don't you think we should do that? I mean, I
Have them
think
look
that
into
it
it.
just, it ruins everything. If you got a nice looking main street and you pull off and it's just a junk street, what's the point? I'm not just saying going all the way across town, but the B1 district, 1 block out. I don't know, it'd be worth getting a price on it, in my opinion.
You're talking cement or blacktop?
Blacktop for that.
Yeah.
You don't need cement for
Right.
side streets.
Just to clarify.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. It is horrible, and 3 of them especially. You got 2 banks, and you got City Hall, you got another bank this way. I mean, this one over here, I'm not taking away anything, but they're horrible.
I mean, it just defeats the purpose, in my opinion, but.
Yeah.
Oh, it.
I would say
Just
next
something
time.
to think about.
Well, Paul's gonna be coming in, and it's an ancillary item, Hey, what would that cost to add that on?
Yeah, if it's too much, I guess we don't do it, but.
But that's
Just
up to you. I
doesn't
mean,
seem
if you
to-
guys wanna add that on.
That's it, I'm done spending money.
Mr. Gearing? Mr. Gearing?
Lagoon discharge will be happening sometime after they get some test results back to clear the water so that they can run it out of the retention pond. And then we need to do some aerator work. So the aerators in the retention pond need some work there too. So they'll do that at that time. So there could be some electrical and engine motor repair there.
In the sludge pond?
Yeah.
They don't have aerators in the big ponds, do they?
The last one, whatever the last one is.
I think that's the one you're talking about,
Yeah.
the sludge.
It's been a long time since we cleaned that bottom out too. The last time it was like 4 or 5 foot deep. That cost us a lot of money because we waited too long. That's something to look at.
We'll find out.
So anyway, there will be some discharge in the near future on that.
You call Clint Bauer?
Well, it means it might smell a little too, so keep that in mind.
How do you discharge that? I mean, just pump out? Pumps out.
Open a valve at one end and start pumping at the other.
Good.
I had, just one thing, out that west side property out there, the weeds were getting out of control. So I think I told Dewey, I was thinking spray them, but they were getting up there pretty good, so I think Broders went in and disc it down for cheap. So I don't know what cheap is, but, 'cause something had to be done there. And so, looks a little better there. But, Mr. Brewer?
Yes, sir.
You good?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Anything else? I'm gonna take it that swimming pool personnel will be in executive session.
No, actually, we can do that out of session, I can do that right
Well,
now.
whatever.
Taylor Franson and Olivia Lemmy completed their WSIs. So that bumps them up into the guards as a WSI from their, just a natural, regular lifeguard to WSI rate. So they go from, Taylor goes up to 1125 and Olivia Lemmy goes to 1175. And that's based on the years that they've been with the pool. So they just went up, each went up $1 from where they were.
Motion?
That's a motion.
I'll second
And that's
that.
effective as June 1,
Retroactive.
retroactive, June 1.
Okay,
I'm good, that's all I have, so.
all right.
Should I call roll?
Excuse me?
Should I call roll since it's Monday?
I made the motion, it was
I think
seconded.
so. Okay, Jacobson,
Yes.
sorry.
Yes.
Jaden,
Yes.
Euchre,
Yes.
Waltner,
Yes.
Gary.
Next meeting date is Thursday, July 8th, which is a Thursday again, Blaine, because we know you like Thursdays. At 6:30. The reason for that is because
4th of July.
Monday's a holiday here, and it's vouchers, and so we pushed it to Thursday, like we did for Memorial Day.
Were we gonna talk about Lisa being out tomorrow and I have an online
We'll talk
conference.
about that in executive
Okay,
session.
perfect.
Move to go on executive session.
Thank you,
Personnel,
Dave.
pending litigation, contract negotiations. Yeah, Scott.